Yeah.
Hi. Sorry if I'm awkward a little. It's my first video. I'm not used to this. But if you hear birds chirping or like my neighbors, it's because my windows are open and my blinds are open because I was trying to get good lighting since I'm filming on my computer because I don't have a camera. But for y'all who don't know, I'm Alexis. Um, I go to a university. I'm 18. Yeah, that's just a little facts about me, I guess. But this video is not about, well, it is about me, but this video is not like, oh, get to know Alexis. This video is about my battle story. Now, before I start, I really want to say this video, not at all, is for people to feel sorry for me or for people to, think that I'm making this video to gain attention or, just any negativity that people think. That's not what it's about. This video and my channel is about empowering people and helping people move forward and cope with like really life-changing situations. Like, God has made me realize that I know that I'm here for a purpose, but I feel like he's using me to like tell my story and help other people be able to tell theirs and be able to handle theirs, because obviously everybody knows life is not easy. And I wanted to make this channel because I know that when you're going through something so life-changing and so hard, you feel alone and you feel like nobody understands what you're going through, and that's literally the complete opposite. There is somebody that knows exactly what you're going through, and I want to be that somebody for people, because I know I definitely felt like I was by myself. Like, I felt like I had nobody. I felt like nobody knew what I was going through. Nothing, nada. But I don't want other people to feel that way. So, enough of me babbling and stuff. And I'm going to talk about my battle story. Now, this video probably be long. So if you don't want to watch it, if you don't care to watch it, you don't have to. I've gotten to the point in my life where I can talk about it without getting so emotional. There was a point where I literally couldn't even like say anything about it without crying. Like, I'm talking about boohoo crying, snot coming out my nose, everything nasty. But I'm getting stronger, so it's easier for me to talk about it, and I feel like I should share my story to help others. So, and the point of all of that was to kind of get the point in my first video. Just like, this is kind of telling why I'm making this channel and what my life-changing part was. So my battle story, I got diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 14, but I'm gonna explain everything from the very, very beginning. And if I do get emotional, don't like even worry about it. I feel like I'm always gonna be emotional about this, no matter what, no matter how many years. Obviously, when I tell people that I've had cancer, they're kind of like, well, you don't look it, or why are you lying, or just like, I've got like a lot of negative stuff, which I was surprised about, because it's kind of like, why would anybody say anything negative about that? But then you learn some people are just like that. And I was like baffled because people feel like for cancer you have to look a certain part, which I did for majority of the time of my high school. But like, it's not just about being bald and looking sick. Cancer is way more than that, and I'll talk about that. But it started off where I had a kind of like a bump on my right lower leg, and I was like getting out the shower, lotioning, doing all that. And then I like noticed, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like really, really, really big. And I'm like, like, is a bone popping out? So I tell my mom because it's like strange. And like, she's my mother. Not only do I tell her everything, but like, it was just weird for me. So she looks at it and she's like, oh my god, this is like really, really weird. And like, it was bad. It was so big, like you could see it through my jeans. Like, you could see the bump, like when I had jeans on. So she was like, well, I'll set an appointment, we'll figure it out. And at the time, I was doing kickboxing and volleyball. So people we were thinking it might have been like a bruise from me like kicking or just something. Nothing too extreme. So I go to school, I'm in ninth grade at the time. I'm 14, starting high school and stuff. Just chilling, like, and like a lot of people just started like noticing the bump, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, like Lex, what is that?" Da da da. And I'm like, I don't know. And then my friends and like other people are like, "Oh, it's probably just a mosquito I ate." And I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm just gonna go to the doctor to see, whatever. I wasn't really thinking much of it. Like, I wasn't thinking that it was anything big. Nobody was thinking that it was anything big. Like, I remember, like, um, I remember this so clearly. Like, I was at the gym one day, and, like, gym at school, and, one of my, like, friends was like, well, he's not even my friend, like a classmate was like, he even joked and he was like, oh, well, you better hope it's not a tumor. And I was just like, okay, one, why would you say that? But two, like, I was just like, I wasn't even thinking about that. No sort of tumors, no nothing. Like, I really didn't know much about of course everybody knows about cancer, but like, I wasn't thinking about it on a daily basis. So, we go to like a doctor, like I forget what kind of doctor it was. It wasn't my regular doctor. So we go to this doctor. He's like, "Oh, this looks like a hematoma." And he's like, "Yeah, it should go away in like a few weeks or months." So at this point, it was like November. And he was like, "It should go away." So we're like, "Okay." But then January comes and it's still not going. And at this point, I'm like, Mom, I think it's getting bigger. So we go back, and he was like, oh, well, that's weird. Let me figure it out. So they give us an X-ray. They don't find anything. We do an ultrasound. They don't find anything. February rolls around. It's still there, not going anywhere. Still not thinking much of it. It's just like, who knows? So we go to like a dermatologist. Maybe it's resulting with something in my skin, and she's like, you should go to your regular doctor, figure it out, because they know more about you than any of these doctors. So we go to my regular doctor, and she's like, that's strange, and it doesn't look anything like a hematoma. And like, she was like, a hematoma would have been gone by now. So I was like, what can we do? And she's like, let's get you an appointment with this surgeon that I know. He's a pediatric surgeon. We're gonna do another ultrasound though before we do the surgery. So I go to, this time it's like March. It's like early March. I'm still going to school and stuff, you know, still not thinking of it, still hanging out with my friends, still being your average teenager. But my mom was starting to get more worried, and I could see it. And my parents were just getting worried. Like, they were just kind of like, what is this? Just trying to figure it out. So, I get another ultrasound, and they still don't really find anything. Ultrasound really doesn't do much. So, they were like, so she was like, let's go to the surgeon. Let's see what he says. So he looks at it and he's like, this is really weird. Like, he was like, I have never, ever seen this on anybody. He was like, it's definitely not a hematoma. Like, how long have you had this? And I'm like, November. And he's like, it's March. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Still not thinking anything of it. Still just like, I'm just so nonchalant. Like, just nonchalant. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not hurting because it wasn't hurting me. It was just there. So I'm like, I don't feel anything. I'm like, it's just there. So he was like, well, we're going to do a biopsy. So that consisted of them like going in to my leg where the bump was and trying to figure out what's going on and testing and all that this medical stuff that I had no idea about. But so I'm like telling my friends, I'm like, yeah, I have to go into surgery for this leg thing because at this point he was trying to figure out if it was malignant or if it was benign. Like, so we were talking about tumors, and I was like, why are we talking about that? And I was like, it's not a tumor. Like, I kept telling myself, I was like, it's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. It can't be. Like, I'm only 14. I'm healthy. Like, I was literally working out every single day. Like, I was fit. I was fine. Like, I was like, I'm healthy. There's no possible way that I have a tumor. Okay? So, I go to surgery. I get out of school and get out of school early to get ready to go. I'm scared out of my mind because I've never, ever, ever, ever been under, and I've never had surgery before, so I didn't know what to think. So we get there. They're telling me all the stuff that I have to do. Oh, we're gonna put you under. It's gonna be about a 3-4 hour procedure, something like that. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, we're just gonna figure out what this is, you know? So I go under, they do it. Obviously, like, I wake up and my leg is like throbbing. It's hurting so bad because I just got surgery on it. So I couldn't really walk on my right leg. So they gave me crutches and it was like wrapped around. So I had to keep my leg elevated, you know, procedure. So I had to take a couple days off for school. And then I don't remember the exact day. I know we are still in March. This time it's about mid-March, about to go into, what's it for March? April? Yeah. Um, so, like, I go back to school. I don't even remember what day it was. I really don't remember. But, I go to school one day after I was cleared to go back. And I'm just going through my regular day of school. I had my friends like carrying my books in my book bag and stuff since I couldn't really like walk by myself and carry that stuff. I couldn't put much weight on it. I was using the elevator. I just didn't like it because I don't like being helped. I don't like feeling sorry for, like, I appreciate everything that everybody did, like, with helping me with my books and stuff, and my friends, like, you know, taking me to class, but I was just like, why do I have to go through this? So I come home that day, and obviously, like, he had told us that it was going to be a few days for them to figure it out. But I come home, and our house phone rings. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just chilling, talking to my dad and my mom. And the phone rings, and my mom answers it. And it's the surgeon. And he's explaining everything, da 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 da. And then all of a sudden, my mom just goes quiet. Like, she's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm like, are you sure about what? Like, what? And she just starts crying, and I'm just like, I already knew. At that point, she didn't need to tell me. My dad didn't need to tell me. I knew. I had cancer. At that point, I just ran. Well, not ran because I couldn't even walk, but I went upstairs to my room, and I just started bawling. I started crying, screaming, just like my like my whole life took a not even a 360, like a 580. Like, I was just like, I was in shock. I was overwhelmed. Like, I didn't even know what to do besides cry. And my parents came up, and they were just hugging me and telling me that, God is going to get us through this. You are strong. You are going to get through this. And I just don't want to hear anything. So I was like, can you just leave me alone? So they're like, okay. So I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. Because every time I cry, especially if I'm crying a lot, I get really, really tired. So I was like, if I take a nap, then I'll be calmed down a little. Me thinking in my head, when I take this nap, I'm going to wake up and this is all going to be a dream. That's what I was thinking when I closed my eyes. This is a dream. I am dreaming. This cannot be happening. I woke up. It wasn't a dream. And it was like, the only thing that I could think of at the time was, I'm going to be bald. That's the only thing that I was thinking about. I'm going to be bald, and I'm going to look sick, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. Like, it was just all negative stuff, like, coming in my head. Like, I didn't know what to think. Like, I'm 14. I just started high school. Like, this is supposed to be the prime 4 years of my life, and that's not it. So, they tell me that I'm gonna have to go to this clinic, which is about it's a clinic near downtown where I live, and they would have to. This will be my new doctor's office. I will be going to an oncologist. I will be assigned an oncologist. There will be nurses there. They will be giving me my treatment plan, everything. So, fast forward, it's been a couple days. I go to the clinic with my parents. I meet my primary oncologist. She was really, really nice. I'm not going to state any names just because, even though I'm sharing this, it is still personal and stuff. But she was very, very nice. And then I meet the other oncology doctors there, and they also would be helping her with me. They were all really, really sweet. Like, they tried to make me feel welcome. Like, this is not going to be the end. You were going to be able to get through it. Just everybody there was really, really sweet. We toured the clinic. We toured the hospital. It was kind of like touring college. Like, it's just like all this different new information that I was learning. So After that, we started talking about the treatment plan, and we started talking with my doctor, and me and my mom, we've been a hot mess with the emotions. She started crying, I started crying, talking about it. I even think my dad started crying, or he got really emotional, and because we were just trying to figure out like how this could happen, because we also found out the case that I had was very, very rare in the area that I live in, and there wasn't like a set treatment for it. So my doctor had came up with the treatment and stuff, and I would have to be going through chemo for like 2.5 years. We didn't know if I was going to do radiation. It was just like, it was a lot. But we also talked about school and what I was going to do with that. Obviously, in my mind, I was like, I'm finishing 9th grade at my school. And they were like, Alexis, no, you're not. Because once you start this chemo, because once you figure out that you have, well, in my case, when I figured out that I had cancer, it was kind of like, oh, chemo the next week. Like, they make sure, like, they get it in fast. So they were like, once you start this chemo, you're going to be really, really tired, and you're going to be sick. And because we're going to have to hit it hard. So your body's going to be very, very weak. And I was like, no, it's not. I can do it. I can go to school. So obviously I lost in that argument. We went to my school and talked to my assistant principal of my grade, and she was telling us that they have online schooling and I could finish school like after school hours, since we were almost done with the school year. So she was just saying I could come in like after school, and my teachers would email me the work and all this other stuff. So, but as far as next year, 10th grade, I could be online through my school. So that worked out pretty good. I was glad that my school was able to accommodate to this. But I did end up going to school because I went to the clinic that weekend, I think, and then I ended up going to school that Monday. And my friends didn't know yet. Like, I hadn't told them anything yet, so I was kind of still trying to be normal, even though I was like, everything inside just wanted to blow up. So I just I don't even know, like, I just tried to act. And I did have a boyfriend. He was 2 grades above me, so he didn't know anything either. I didn't tell him. Like, I was just trying to remain calm for them. So I what happened? My mom was like, you need to tell your friends and you need to tell your boyfriend, like, now, because they're gonna start to realize that you're not gonna be at school. So I tell all of them. Obviously, it was a shocker to all of my friends. It was definitely a shocker to my boyfriend at the time, because not only was he found out that, oh, his girlfriend just got diagnosed with cancer, but he also had his own issues with his mom's health that was really, really bad. So it was a lot for him. And I was telling him, like, if you can't handle it and if you don't want to, I totally understand. But he was just like, no, I'm going to be there for you 100 step of the way. So I really appreciate him for that. And I appreciate my friends, because I don't know how they felt about it. I know they were sad, but, we never really talk about it a lot. And, but they were a huge support. And I really appreciate everybody in my life that has helped me through this. Like, without them, without anybody that helped me through this, and all of them know who they are, I don't know where I would be. Like, that's 100%. Not, obviously, the main whole thing that got me through this was God. But my family, my friends, my neighbors, my whole clinic, my whole health team, without any of them, I don't know how or where I just can't. But I told them, I still try to go to school like the rest of the week, but I had my first thing of chemo that week, and I was like, okay, well, after chemo, I'm gonna go back to school. And they were like, my mom was like, okay, but if you feel, no, I was like, I went to school that morning, but then I had to leave early because I was going to get chemo. But I was like, after my chemo, I'm going to go back to school. And she was like, we'll see. So I had my first chemo. It was like 15 minutes. And I get out. I'm fine. You know, I don't think much of it. And then I start feeling sick, tired in a matter of minutes. It was just like that. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going back to school. I just slept the rest of the day. Like, I couldn't do anything. I was just tired. And then I realized that I couldn't go to school. Like, it was just going to be too much. So I finished school, you know, going after school, doing emails, doing my tests after school. And during that time, like, I started getting chemo, like, basically every single day. And the stuff started being harder and more. And then I noticed that my hair was falling out. And that was a big, huge thing for me because at the time I was very obsessed with my hair. When I tell you, I had like purple, blonde, and pink in my hair because I had ombre. And like I was just obsessed. I don't even know why. I don't know why. But I was just obsessed with my hair. And it was really hard for me to see it come out. And like come out in clumps. And like I remember I was just like brushing my hair and it was just falling. It was just shedding. And I was like, and I would wake up and there would be hair all over my pillows. Like, it really hits you. Like I was just like, I don't even know, like, what to even feel besides just sadness. I was just sad. I tried to smile. I tried to put up a good fight, but I was really, really sad. And I was just trying to hold on to my hair as much as possible. Like, I even remember we had went to Charleston, I think it was, or we went on some vacation, and I had wrapped my hair in like this scarf because all of my edges and the front part of my hair was gone and all the back part of my hair was gone. So it was just like this little bun of hair, like in the middle of my hair. And I had wrapped a scarf around that part but left the bun out because I was like, oh, this is cute. Even though I'm bald all up here and all back here. But my mom was like, once we leave here, you are shaving all that off because you gotta let it go. So I went to my hairdresser and she shaved all my hair off. She didn't even have a razor. Like, we had bought one, or she had bought one just to shave my hair off because I didn't want anybody else to shave it besides her because she's my hairdresser. I don't want anybody touching my hair. If somebody's gonna cut off my hair, it's gonna be her. So she was more than happy to do that for me. Like, she was amazing. Obviously, all my mom's friends were really, really amazing through that too. But once I shaved my head and I was bald, it was all surreal. I had the look, I guess people like to think it is, where you're bald and you look sick. I mean, I remember like through this whole process, my weight fluctuated. Like I remember when I first started, I wasn't eating at all because I just kept throwing up. Every time I ate, I threw it up because I was so sick all the time. Like when you are going through chemo, like it makes you feel disgusting. Like no lie. So I was like sick all the time and I kept throwing up everything I ate. I just couldn't hold anything. So I began to lose a lot of weight. Like I looked like a skeleton. It was sickening. Like ugh. And there would be times where my chemo would make me gain a bunch of weight. So it was just like my self-esteem was really, really low. I was just going through a lot. Like obviously I have scars. As you can see, this is one of them. This is probably the most visible, besides my leg. Everybody asks what this is, what's on your leg. Still have a hard time explaining that. It's just like, I realized like, when I went through that, I just, I couldn't really explain how I felt. Like, I was just trying to get through it. I was trying to get it done. But fast forward, obviously you can tell that through that I was just really sick. So all sophomore year I was really sick, in and out the hospitals, in and out having surgeries, in and out scans, in and out with chemo. It was just, I was just sick all the time, sophomore year basically. But towards the end, like December of, in my sophomore year, December, I find out they make me do a CAT scan and stuff, and they don't see any signs. But even though they don't see any signs at the time, you still have to go through chemo and stuff, and you still have to go through all the procedures. But it was really, really good. It was a big, huge relief that everything was everything was coming together. Like it was a miracle. Like one day you have it, the next day you don't. Like it was a huge relief, and I thank God every single day that I was able to survive. But yeah, they found out that there wasn't any signs, that they didn't see anything, but they were like, you still have to go through, the plan that we have for you just to make sure it doesn't come back. So I was still going through chemo, still being sick, but I was gaining kind of my strength because the chemo wasn't as bad anymore. So it was still bad. Like I was still sick. Like it's chemo, but like they didn't have to hit me as hard. So we discussed that junior year, my upcoming junior year, I would be able to go back to school. That's something that I did not want to hear because I wasn't ready. I was ready as the part as to see my friends, but I wasn't ready myself. My hair started growing back, but it was really, really fine. Like it was really, really soft. It wasn't 100% there. It was really, really short. So junior year, I returned. Everybody's so happy to see me. Don't know if it was 100% genuine from everybody. Not a lot of people still didn't know, but most people knew. that something was wrong, because obviously I wasn't there for a year, but I didn't care what anybody thought. Um, when I pulled up to the school, I was really, really nervous. Like, I wanted to cry and I wanted to throw up because I just didn't want to go in. I didn't want to, again, have people feeling sorry for me. I didn't want to hear, "How are you doing? Are you okay?" And literally, all my teachers had to get emails saying my situation. Sometimes she might be in and out. It was a lot. Um, so I was excited, but then again, I wasn't. I would have rather been homeschooled. That was my mentality at the time. But my friends were happy to have me back, so I was just like, okay. So I tried to jump back into junior year, like as nothing happened. Um, my appearance was, ugh. I look at pictures and I'm like, ugh, Mom, why did you let me leave? Looking like that. But obviously, I wasn't 100%, so I wasn't gonna look 100%. But I'm still going through chemo while I'm in school. Some days I had to leave early to go to my appointments. Some days I didn't even come in because I was sick. I remember I missed like a whole month of school, but I was still doing, still participating, but I missed a whole month. And they excused me from finals that month because towards the end of like December of that year, I got really, really sick and I had to get surgery, and I wasn't able to go to school. But once everything was back, I went back, and it was a good thing because by the time I came back, we were in a new semester, so I didn't miss much. At this time, I had gotten braids, um, but my chemo had to become upped more harder again just to make sure, and the chemo that they gave me made my hair fall out again. So my hair started falling out in the summertime. So good thing I was out of school. Um, my hair started falling out again, and I remember I took my hair out the braids, and it was just like it was bald spots again. And I tried to get braids in the summertime because I was going to this nursing camp for the summer, and I was I wanted my hair to be, but it was kind of like you could see like I had balding like around the top part, but I just didn't care. I usually wore a headband so you wouldn't see that part, and then you would just see the braids. But I took out the braids after I came back, and obviously like I lost a lot of hair. And then my hairdresser told me that we should cut it again, and that she would put in a wig for me. Like she would make up this wig because her and one of my mom's closest friends had bought me a wig. And I didn't really wear wigs like that. Um, I loved the wig. It was beautiful. And I wore it a couple of times, like a lot, but it would be too hot and I would just take it off. And I usually just rocked a baseball cap in my bald head. Because most of the time I stayed in the house. I didn't really go out. I made sure if I went out, like if my mom wanted me to go out with her somewhere, that she made sure that she did it during school hours. So like going back to where I was homeschooled, like online, everybody else would be at school. So she was like, if you want to go out with me, we can go out in between the time where everybody's at school, so you won't see anybody. Because I didn't want anybody to see me. But my hairdresser had revamped the wig that they had bought me, dyed it to my natural hair color, and I wore that my senior year. All my senior year, everybody remembers it was not my real hair. I didn't tell anybody it wasn't my real hair because, my hairdresser is the bomb. She knows how to make everything look real, so it looked like my hair. Nobody knew. So I wore that, and then my hair grew. It grew a lot. I started getting my hair back, started coming back thicker. I was so excited, but I still wore the weave because my hair was too short. look like a little boy. So I wore the weave and stuff, the wig all senior year. And then I took it out in the summertime and started doing like wearing kind of natural and stuff. Did like 4 braids. But that was just like the short story of it, because if, as you can already tell, this is already like a 40-minute video. So if I explain the whole thing, trust me, it would be like 5 hours. But it was just like, it taught me, not only like, it taught me, not only did I have to grow up really fast during this time, I became a different person, a person that I love, that I'm glad that I have become. I have learned so much throughout this journey. I have learned that you cannot control your life. You can make it seem like you can plan stuff out and have a future, but you're never gonna 100% know what's gonna happen in your life. Before everything had happened, I basically thought my life was perfect. No, not even trying to, like, I just didn't have any problems. Like, I was your average teenager. Like, I got in trouble sometimes, obviously. There was a lot of stupid stuff that I did. But, like, I was, like, I didn't think anything, like, was wrong. So, to have this happen to me, I was like, how could this happen to me? Because I'm like, my life's supposed to be perfect. And that got me way off my high horse. And I learned that life is up and down. It's like a roller coaster. And I learned that I am not like everybody else. I was here, I was born here to have a purpose. Like, my parents has always told me God has a plan for you, and I 100% know that now. Like, when they used to say that, I was like, yeah, I know, but now I know 100%. Like, he has shown me that he can do wonderful things, and curing me, making me a survivor was amazing, because I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to help other people, not only who have been through that, but who are going through other things. Like, you have to understand, and people need to understand, that you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know what they've been through. So you shouldn't judge them. And I would say I was that type of person that judged people before I even knew, and I wasn't thinking about what they were going through or anything. But then when I had that happen to me, it gave me a real reality check that you should never judge anybody. Like, because they are also going through something that is hard too. And I grew up, I learned that the teenage, petty, girl nonsense, it just wasn't me anymore. I was like, I don't want to be in the drama. I don't want any part of that anymore. I want to grow. To me, I had to move my life fast. I had to grow up more than I had to. And I wasn't going to go back to kind of being a teenager again. Like, I just, like, I'm a teenager, obviously, like, but in my mind, I don't feel that way. Because I've gone through something that is really traumatic, and that just grew me up, basically. And I just really appreciate everybody that was there for me and everybody who stuck by me, all my friends who stayed in the hospital with me when I had to stay days, weeks at a time, and y'all would be there on the weekends when y'all didn't have school and stay with me, even though I know it was boring because it's just four walls and a television and nurse coming in and out. And I know my beeping little monitor thing that I had connected to me was so annoying during the night because it would annoy me, and the beds were uncomfortable. Like, I know all of it, but I really appreciate all y'all. I appreciate my family. Like, my family was my rock. Like, my siblings, they were there for me 100%. My mom, my dad, he'd be out of town for days at a time for his job, and then once he came back from the airport, and it would be late at night, he would still drive to the hospital if I was staying there and see me and stay with me, sometimes even stay the night in his work clothes. And I just, like, my mom would stay the night. She would, make sure the kids were good at night at the house, and then come see, like, just all my family, all my friends, everybody who didn't eat, my neighbors who I barely even like talked to, they were still so supportive. My friends now, who I tell, they 100% support me. My boyfriend now, not the same one. No, he's not moving in. I have a new one, but he, like, the first time I met him, he made me tell him. And I'm scared too, because I was usually scared to tell guys. I usually didn't. He was about the first one that I had told that I was talking to, if the guys that I'm talking to didn't already know from other people. But I told him, and he was really, really nice about it. And I don't know. He's just amazing. But everybody has just been like 100% supportive, and I thank everybody. And I just wanted to introduce myself and introduce why I want to make this YouTube channel. And I've been wanting to make this for years. Like, I wanted to start out from when I first got diagnosed, but I just was too scared and too vulnerable to make videos and talk about it. But I'm here now, helping people who are going through just tough times, and trying to encourage people that no matter what they go through, you will be able to get through it. And don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever think that you're alone. Like, I want people to know that I am here for them, and that they will never have to be alone again. So that is my long video, and I hope you liked it. I hope you watch the other videos that I make on this channel, and comment, subscribe, like, do whatever you want. And I will talk to you later.